So my name's Alex, I do lots of stuff with leather, and today we're going to be talking about cutting straps and different types of leather and things like that as well. So on stage here we've got two different types of leather. We've got this lovely big thick piece of veg tan, which I was going to drop on this table until I realised that this is a folding table, but we will get it out in a minute, I'll let you have a look. And then we've got some chrome tan leather here. So the chrome tan leather I got from Lucas Ruth Handmade just over here. So these guys have got some really cheap hides going at the moment, really good value hides. So if you are looking for something like that, go see these guys just over here. Gives a wave. Perfect. There we go. And then this piece was donated by Ivan Leathercraft. And for those that don't know who Ivan Leathercraft are, they've been in the leathercraft business for about 40 years. Should be some flies on your seats. What they've also done this year, as Ben mentioned, it's my 10th anniversary since I first sold a leather item. So I've been doing this for well over 10 years. So what they've done is they've sponsored a giveaway. So we've got this 31-piece Pro hand sewing kit. It's worth about $300. And to enter to win this, all you've got to do is go to handmadebyalex.com and just put your first name, your last name, and your email address in. I am going to give the details across to Ivan because they want something, don't get something for nothing. But you can just unsubscribe from any marketing materials and still be in for a chance to win this. Really, I've done a full unboxing and review of all the tools that are in there, which are on YouTube, Handmade by Alex, and have a look at them and have a play. Also, the winner, when you get it, if you're close enough, you're going to get a one-to-one session. And if it's just something where you live miles and miles away, I've got to post it out, we'll jump on a video call and I'll give you some tuition with all the tools that are in there as well. So that being said, we're going to have a look at cutting some leather. So who here, by a show of raise of hands, who here has ever cut leather before? Perfect. Who's cut chrome tanned leather? So this stuff here, the really loose, thin stuff. Who's cut veg tan leather? Oh, God. There we go. Okay, it's not that heavy. So there is quite a significant difference between the two when it comes to cutting. As a sort of in general, these are going to be quite sort of broad terms in which I'm speaking, and we can get into the finite details of it. Argue with me on Instagram later, that's fine. So when you're cutting veg tan, it's more like dealing with wood. So when you put a hole in it, you got a hole in it. If you've got a piece of fabric or material, you put a hole in it, it's going to come back, it'll be okay. But when you're dealing with, especially the veg tan leather, when you've got a hole, you've got a hole. If it's in the wrong place, tough, deal with it. Put another hole in somewhere else, start again, reshape, whatever you need to do. So we've got a couple of tools that we're going to be looking at. The first one is a strap cutter. And then the next one is an even smaller strap cutter. So I don't know if anybody's seen these ones. I did put a video up. I think I put a video up on this. I might have put a video up on this on YouTube. If not, there'll be one coming up soon. So this is a new product from Ivan that they've sent me to have a look at. We'll be giving this away. I might give that one away tomorrow. And because all you folks are sat here nice and early on a Saturday morning instead of watching Jimmy, don't get up and run to see Jimmy. Phew. We might give this one away. So this is the strap cutter, same one that I've been using for years and years and years, slightly modified. But this is a really cool piece of equipment, a really good tool. And we'll have some questions at the end. And the best question, I think Ben said he's going to pick someone to... He didn't. He didn't say that at all. We'll pick somebody and we'll do it. So let's have a look at some leather. I am going to roll this out the best I can. And also, anybody that's just watched Jonah on from Shadow Foam that have sponsored this stage, he saw it inside of this toolbox and just told me off backstage because I shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that. So yeah, go to handmadebyalex.com, enter details to win this kit, and then best question will win this, and we've got some spare blades as well. So only people over the age of 18, or if you've got a parent or guardian with you. Pop that down there. Who has ever purchased, or who's ever seen, a side of a cow? Not when it's still attached to the cow in the field. When you've got a bit of leather, you folks have got some leather, and we can see that we've got a side of a cow. You used to skin them. Is that as a hobby or as a profession? Oh, no, okay. Fine. Yeah, again, as a hobby or as a professional. Okay, perfect. Cows are pretty big. So we've got two pieces here. I'm going to unroll them. Like I say, I did want to throw them across the table. I'm a little bit scared it's going to collapse. I might do it anyway. Let's find out. So this is, like I say, this is some chrome tan, which I've just borrowed from the folks over at Lucas Ruth. £60 each or two for 100 for the show. So definitely if you're in the market for some really good pieces. So that's how big a piece of leather is. How tall are you, Ben? 6'4". 6'4"? So you have to duck under most doors then, don't you? Yeah. So that is a big old bit of leather. So this is an upholstery hide, or closer to an upholstery hide. A 72-inch belt was two of them made. Yeah. So you would need a whole hide for that, and we're going to show you on this one. Same again. This one's really heavy. So hold those two bits, lift it as high as you can. You just turn to face the, thanks. So that is a side of a cow, and that's pretty big, right? So how long do you reckon you could hold that for?
I'm okay at the minute.
Okay. Just take a step this way a little bit for me. Look how big it is. So what we're going to do, I just want to pop this in front of the camera because there's some really interesting range markings. And what I say by range markings is, let's pop this down. I'll take this corner first. So we've got 3 letters on this. And it says I, P, and then I think that's an A. And really interesting, that would have been the brand on the cow. So that's it, it's in the skin, that's a scar. And then we'll see some other markings. I'm going to try and show you this as quickly as I can to put this camera back. So see, we've got these little tabs here. So you'll get these all the way around the outside from where it's been sort of stretched out and hung up. There are some leathers that you'll get that will not have these markings on at all. You'll pay a lot of money to get a cow that has lived a life of luxury. It's lived in a green open pastures. It's not had any barbed wire. Because what happens is, you'll know from seeing these, a cow will get a big flea bite and it'll go up to a barbed wire fence and go. As we all, when you get scratching outside, you can't reach it, it scratches it up. But what that then does is it'll scratch the leather. Range markings, because it's out on the range. Yeah, the best ones get passports, absolutely. So if you used to come and have a look at this, you'll see that there's stretch marks to it. And then there's range markings, there's scratches, there's holes, there's cuts, there's scars, there's brands on it. Is it a flaw or is it a feature? Because it can be both. I've made backpacks, like school bag sort of backpack style, where I'll use the brand and the brand will be right in the middle. So as the flap comes over, the branding will be right there. It's not a flaw at that point, it's a feature. And that's something we can do as a maker. We take something really big and ugly, and with a load of practice, we make it smaller and prettier. Take the flaw, make it a feature. With that being said, there are different parts to a cow. And I don't just mean the different cuts of steak, but there's different parts to a cow. So buying a big piece of leather like this could be quite a big investment for somebody. I remember getting my first piece and I rolled it out across my sofa and I thought, that's a lot of money. What if I cut it and I cut it wrong and I ruined it? That's £200 that I've just cut through. And it must have taken me maybe 2 weeks to build up the courage and lay it out and mark it. And before I actually made that first cut, and then I made the first cut, I went, oh, that was easy. It's making the first cut. And as we all know, when it comes into your making journey, the first step is always the most difficult, right? And as Rod Stewart said, the first cut's the deepest. I've got to get cheesy joking. So I've got a couple of different cuts on a piece of leather. There's some really good bits that we want to use, and there's some bits that we don't want to use as much. So if we can try to orient ourselves around this, you would be where the back and like the left-hand side would be. So this is the bum. It's a nice cow bum cheek. This bit along here is the belly. I love that you're nodding away there because you've done this for a living. And this up here would be your shoulder. Sometimes you get them with a bit of a longer taper off here, which is like more the top of the shoulder and the neck. Different areas have different characteristics. Belly leather, this bit, normally really cheap if you're just buying it as a cut-off, like really cheap. It stretches. We don't like it. It doesn't really take a dye very well. You can't really see it here. But if you want to come up where we're packing up, you can have a look. There's lots of stretch marks here. It still has stretch to it. So I wouldn't be making a belt from this bit. The shoulder tends to pull in a really weird direction. So we don't really want that bit yet again. There's a load of stretch marks coming up here. You might be able to see it if you're near the front. Got a load of stretch marks on there. We can use that bit, don't really want to. What we want to be using is the back or the bend. So if we imagine that we sort of cut this here and here, it's this bit that we want to be using. It's not going to stretch anymore. It's already as tight as the material is going to go. You tend not to get many range markings on there because it's the spine. It's not rubbing up and down that way. It can't. So when it comes to making belts and straps, that's the bit we want to be using. One of the questions, I used to work in a leather shop, and one of the questions I'd get all the time, somebody would come in and they want to buy a belt, or want to make a belt. So you can get pre-cut, pre-made belt blanks. These again are from Lucas Ruth over there. They're selling these sets. They may have some big enough, I don't know. You might get a couple of belts from this length for the smaller person, the less well-fed person. How long do you say yours was? 72? So 72 inch to make a 56 inch. Yeah. So a pretty big piece of leather. But you can buy, as a normal person, you can just go buy belt blanks. And then all you need to do is put an end on it and punch some holes in it and put a buckle on it and you're good to go. We're not going to do that. You can buy these from these guys, and also they're doing a make-your-own belt. So they've already got some belt blanks cut, and then they've got some different ways of finishing it, which hopefully I'll be able to show you some of them today, but if not, they've got some really good things over there. So, Alex, I hear you shout. Hey, thanks. Thank you. Yeah. How do we get a straight line onto this? Because the tool we're going to be using is this strap cutter. Who has seen a strap cutter like this before? So this is a really, really simple tool. Really, really simple. It's got a sharp bit for cutting. It's got a measuring bit for measuring. And it's got a handly bit for holding. Probably not the technical terms, but you get what it is. So what this will do is this will cut, very sharp bit in here, this will cut a parallel line to whatever this part runs against. So if I was to hold this against here, we're not going to get that, it's just going to be a parallel swerve, right? Excuse me. So what we need to do is put a straight edge on there. Who here, we've got some hands raised for people that have started with a piece of leather like this, right? Who's started with a piece of leather like this and then cut it? How would you put a straight line on it? Longest piece of wood you can, lay it on the floor. Did I or did I not say to you we're going to lay this on the floor? A really good way to do it. You guys said you've cut some leather straps before. How'd you do it? A nice long straight edge. Anybody else cut some? I know that I can see there's two of you at least that have definitely cut leather before. Okay. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. One of them is my preferred way is to find a large flat surface. If you don't have one, you might not do it on your dining room table. You might not have, because a lot of us, that's where we start. You might not have it on just your workbench, because this is a big old piece of leather. So how I like to do it is to lay on the floor, mark it, check it, mark it again, check it again, because experience lets me know if I just cut it, I'm definitely going to cut it wrong. And then just cut it. And there's nothing wrong with going nice and slowly and just doing 10 centimeters at a time, or a foot at a time, or 2 foot at a time. You don't need to do one long pass all the way through. Do lots of small cuts. Even with a fresh blade, this is 2 to 3 mil thick. The amount of force you're going to have to put through, because you might hit a scar, you might hit a soft patch and you wiggle off. Just take your time with it. So what we're going to do is lay on the floor and cut a straight edge. Is there anybody brave enough to come up and give it a go? Young lad with a hat on, you can come up. Round of applause. we are going to cheat a little bit and not cut over that. And I've brought the world's biggest cutting mat. How many people have got one of these? Yeah. How many people have got one twice the size? How many people have got one 4 times the size? Yeah. So I've literally brought this just as a sacrificial piece. But this is to prove the point that we can cut this long piece of leather. I don't even know how long it is. But just using this small bit. So...
Hi, my name's Jack.
This is Jack. So who wants to know a little secret about Jack? Hey. So I actually know Jack. He did put his hand up. He's not a plant. I was just looking for somebody. So Jack was at Maker Central 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
4 years ago?
4 years ago.
And he came down as just an attendee. And part of Jack's leatherworking journey, because he now sells stuff. And he sent me a picture a couple of weeks ago on Instagram of his craft stall that he's now set up. And some of the work that Jack's doing, it's better than mine, it's all right. The edges that he's doing on his wallets and things is mind-blowing. But I've never seen him cut some leather, so he's really under the cosh at the moment. But for me, it's really good. Jack's the reason I come back to Maker Central. It's my 4th year here on stage talking about leather. I've got another talk this afternoon on the main stage. I've got another talk tomorrow doing pretty much the same sort of thing, except we're going to be weaving a seat top. So Jacob from Winterton's Furniture, you may have seen him on TV. He's making a stool, and we're going to, once Jack's cut a nice straight line for us, we're going to be strap cutting from that, and we're going to be making a stool. So having people like Jack, and there's some very familiar faces in the audience that are coming back, is why we come and do this. So thank you for coming, and cut this. So how do we market? I hear you shout. How do we market? Got a couple of ways. Got a Sharpie. I've got a ballpoint pen somewhere. Pen. Yeah. That's one of them funky pencils. Scratch all. Has anybody got a scratch all? Yeah, loads of you. Dead simple. That's fine. Thank you. How would you like to mark this on here? Scratch all. Good question. Good answer. And what we're going to do is we're going to mark a straight line. And it sounds quite easy to mark a straight line. Did you just say no? No, he's right, it's not. So, as we can see here, the other way you can do it, by the way, big bit of wood. Has anybody ever used a plumb line when you're setting like a straight line down it's like plumb line where you get a bit of string, tie it up, and then it comes down, you can whack a bit of chalk on it. So you can get a bit of string, get your cat to sit on this end, sure. Find the point in which you're going to cut the top off without losing too much material. So if we was to take a straight line, hopefully you can still see this. So if I was to say from this point, I want to take a straight line from here. If I do that, we're going to miss. So we need to come to the point of most loss, most gain. So it has to come to at least this point-ish. We'll level it up in a minute. And we're going to have a bit of waste on here. Okay, that's fine. Yes, it's costing us money, and we could work out how much this is going to cost us per square inch. It doesn't matter. And then the other thing that we do want to make a point of showing is when we cut our leather, and this is a big piece, little piece, doesn't really matter, I would not come here and cut this side. I'm right-handed, I'd cut my right hand. Does anybody know why I would not cut this side? What was that one? 100%. If you was to come off the edge, you'd go into your nice piece of leather. So for this piece, I'd either turn it around or probably just go and stand over that side where Jack is. You're right-handed? Yep, fine. You can move that out of the way if you want, that's not a problem at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a nice straight edge by making one. If we just make sure when we're cutting, we're only going to cut. We're not cutting just yet, but I don't want to cut through this luxury carpet. Why is that sticky? Has anybody seen, while you're marking this, has anybody seen the Maker knife? Does anybody remember the Jacko Maker knife? Okay, so some of you really need to get on board with this. So this was a Kickstarter in 2018 maybe. It's a really, really cool knife because it's all straight edges. So it's hijack this. Not hijack, I mean hijack. So it's got a really cool, it locks and you put your finger in it. So the new one's coming out, will be on Kickstarter soon, but Jacko's not here to promote it, so I'll tell you about it. So what we're going to do, let's have a look at making this straight edge. What are we thinking? About there? I'd move it up a bit. It's expensive leather, that. I know I got it for free, but don't take the... Yeah, about there. So all we're going to do, so we've got quite a long rule here. And if we was to apply too much pressure, and if we're holding it here, and we apply pressure here, does anybody know what happens? yeah, we've got, so I can see the motions. It does this, yeah, you apply too much pressure sideways, you're holding it at a pivot point, it spins off, you've ruined it. You have not ruined it, we're only doing gentle lines. So what we're going to do is probably maybe a foot to a foot and a half at a time, and then just realign the straight edge and move it and move it and move it. Off you go. Whoa. Just seeing if you'd stop. What I would have done is I'd have said, hey Alex, hold that end for me please. Because it's good to have friends. Is this on the screen? Can you see me smiling like an idiot? That was quick. Oh wait, he's moving it down. So what happens if we don't have all this spare space in our studio apartment? What would you do then? This guy's answering all the questions, I love it. Two ways to do it. One way is to roll it, the other way is to roll it really gently. So we'd do that, and then what we'd do is we'd just move it closer towards ourselves. We could also have the other end rolled up. So I'm saying put it on a big wide space. You can do that, you don't have to. Keep on going. Ugh. I shouldn't have made that noise when I stood up, should I? That's not. You heard it, didn't you? I didn't really. I heard it through the speakers. And then what we're going to do once Jack's finished doing this is we're going to cut it. What tools do we use for cutting leather? Just showing you one of them. Box cutter, utility knife. I've probably got two with me. That's really sticky. I don't know why it's sticky. Just a generic trapezoidal blade. Just put a fresh one in it. Did you know you can strop these? Anybody ever stropped a blade? How many of you just throw them away? Honestly, how many of you just throw them away? Yeah. Strop it, little leather strop, back of your belt. And you can make a strop by using a strap cutter. Say again, sorry? A good use for it, yeah, I'll tell you what, have I got it? So my strop, you're saying it's good use for the offcuts. This is my strop. It's just a scrap of leather with some polishing compound on it. And if you just have a look at the back of my belt, you'll see that there's marks on there from where I've stropped my blades on it. How are we getting on, Jack? He's taking his time, and I'm really pleased to see that, because that's what you need to do. You need to make sure everything's lined up. You need to make sure it's straight. There's going to be some wastage. Absolutely. It's part of it. Hopefully not much wastage, because Jack's doing it and he knows how expensive leather is and all the rest of it. So, yeah, it's fine. Does anybody here wear a belt? Perfect. Does anybody here wear a leather belt? Did anybody here make... I know you had one made for you. Just put your hand down. Keep on marking that up. You bought two which were made. Yeah. Hides are fine. So what we've got now is a nice cut line. And what we're going to do is cut it. You take full responsibility, blah, 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 blah. Cut this. So we're going to cut this. And how are we going to cut it? We're going to do like one really big cut all the way down. No. So we're going to start at one end, we're going to work our way down. Do you want to roll it up from that side for me? And we'll unroll this at the same time. And then if you just pull it and lift it towards yourself. There we go. And we'll have this section down here first. And what we're going to try and do is keep this lovely bit of range marking that we've got as well. Because we've gone to effort to, we've got it. This is quite a deep one. This will look really, really good. So we're going to make sure that we use our cutting mat. Really big cutting mat. Stop laughing. It's not the size of the cutting mat, it's what you do with it, right lads? Yeah. So we can still use the straight edge that we've just been using. We're going to make sure that the straight edge, our ruler, is sitting over the piece of leather we want to keep, because we don't want to accidentally run off and cut into it. What a really smart person would do is say, hey Alex, can you hold that side of the ruler for me, please? Oh yeah, of course, well, yeah. You can do it by yourself, but there's two of us on stage. You may as well take the help where you can. The other thing that you could do, are we lined up? Yeah, looking good. The other thing that we could do is, one second, is clamp it down. So if you've got like a table clamp, are we still on? Yeah, probably about there. We'll pick it up, we'll move it. Slow and steady, nice, purposeful cuts. We're not just going, we're doing it with reason. Roll this up. Part of me just wants to cut it all the way down. You want? Who wants a tip and a trick? Okay, so Jack's doing something here. He's cutting the length of the cutting board, right? Do we need this cutting mat? Do we need this cutting mat to see the grid lines on it? No, we're using it to protect the worked surface underneath. So what we can do, this length is however long that is, but this length is longer. So to stop us moving this more often, more frequently, instead of having it like this, we're going to turn it like this. Give ourselves an extra 2 inches. 2 inches is a lot when it comes to cutting mats. Okay, people that have worn belts. Anybody that wears a belt, has ever worn a belt, has seen a belt, knows what a belt is. Excellent. How wide is your belt? About that big, about that big, about that big. So standard men's belt is 1.5 inches. A dress belt is 1 inch. Women's belts vary because why not? But men seem to have standard belt sizes. So when it comes to setting our width, we have this lovely tool. On the inside of this tool, we've got some sizes. And to adjust this, what we do is we unscrew the bolt up here, loosens this up. We want to make sure that this thickness, this gap here, this spacing, is as thick as the leather we're cutting. So to do that, we're going to unscrew this, pull this apart a little bit, wait for Jack to finish. And the easy way that I like to do it is I'll put the piece of leather in this side here, and just make sure it fits, which I don't think this will. Nope. So what I'll do on this now, so that doesn't fit. So what I'll do is I'll loosen this off and then open this up a little bit. And the reason we do that is because we want it to be a nice firm hold onto the material that we're cutting. We don't want it to just be loose. Loose isn't good. Just undo either one of these really. I'm going to just do this one. And all it needs is a bit of a turn, and we'll see that this can open up. So we want to probably, I'll put it in like this and hold it together and then tighten it up. And then what we're going to do is decide on how thick we want our belt. So we said a standard men's belt is 1.5 inches. We'll do it 1.5 inches then, yeah? Fine. But also, what if you want to do, so if you're going to be beveling and burnishing, so treating the edges, you may lose a bit of that. So you can make it a little bit wider before you do your bevels and your burnishes. We'll set that to 1.5 inches, so we're going to line this up with the side of the tool, and then just tighten this up here. There we go. Just in time as we're done. Perfect. Round of applause for Jack. I'm just trimming these extra bits off. Perfect. Have we got a minute? We've got 2 minutes left? Yeah? Should we run the cutter down the edge of the leather? Round of applause for Jack, everybody. Thank you ever so much. Lovely helper. So this is what we've cut off. It's a big, that's a lot of wastage. You can make coasters from that. You could make, say that again, sorry? Yeah, we could probably pull 1 inch off that. Let's give it a go. So what we're going to do, post it through. There's a small little sort of cutout on this bit, which helps you to guide the leather out of the cutter. Ooh. I'm just going to give this a little pull. Ooh, ooh, ooh. He says. There we go. So this is 3mm leather. It's really, really thick. And what we'd do is we'd find, so if I was to be pulling all this, I'd find a clamp and clamp it down to a workbench, or I'd get a friend to hold it while we pull it. So let me just start this off a little bit more, because this is quite a... Can you hold that as tight as you can? Just there.
As tight as I can.
Yeah, without standing on the really expensive... You can't get the staff, can you?
You're not friends anymore.
Yeah, fine. Hold it as tight as you can. You got it?
Yep.
Tight as you can. So we're gonna, there we go. So we're gonna pull, okay? You can feel that there's a fair bit of pull to that. Probably should have put a newer blade on it. Not gonna. And we're just gonna pull. Oh no! You knew I was gonna do this. Oh no, what happens? That's not a straight 1.5 inches. Slow and steady wins the race. We were planning on cutting it. I didn't want to. I didn't tell you that, did I?
You didn't.
No. So when it comes to using your strap cutter, I'll show you on here. So can we see how I've pulled it off on an angle? Slow, steady, purposeful cuts. Is anybody here tomorrow for the Sunday show? Perfect. So tomorrow we're going to be on stage, myself and Jacob Bell from Winterton's Furniture, who I think's turned up somewhere at the back. Morning, afternoon. So Jacob's making a stool, a nice fine piece of stool, and what we're going to do with this piece of leather is we're going to strap cut a load of strips, and we're going to attach them to the stool, and we're going to weave the seat for the stool. And we're going to be doing that on stage. So if you are about, come back, have a look. I know that we're time, we might have some questions. Yeah. So I'm going to give away a new strap cutter, not this one, a new one in a bag, with some replacement blades. But first, we need some questions. Any questions?
So best question, we're looking for our best question.
Best
Kicking
question,
off down
Ben's
at the
picking the winner.
front.
So that's an expensive hide you've got there. And when you buy them, what proportion do you get goods out of? How much is wasted, in other words?
There's no such thing as waste in crafting, because you'll always find a use for it. It depends on how you cut it, depends on what you're using it for. So let's say that this side would have been, I think it's about $300 plus shipping and taxes and things. So like I say, this is from Ivan. So it's come across from Taiwan. Pretty cheap, really quick shipping, bit of import duty on it. If I know that the project I need all of this hide for is going to return me £2,000, and this amount of leather, if we work it out, cost per square centimetre, cost per square inch, this is £15, £12 worth of wastage. In the grand scheme of things for ROI, it's probably worth it because of what we're going to make from the rest of it. So when it comes to the cost of wastage, we all know that we can sell things more than we sell things for. You know, if this isn't wastage, I can make wristbands from this, I can make watch straps, coasters, anything like that from this. So it's not really wasted material. Some of it, absolutely. Some of these little bits on here, you're not really doing much with it. Same with like the belly leather, you're not really going to do too much with it. So key rings is a great one, just to knock out some key rings, little key organisers, a key fob, you know, stamp somebody's name in it, that sort of thing. So it's not waste. Well, thank you for that.
So the bar has been
hope that
set.
answered that rambling answered the question.
Why are you not using British leather as opposed to buying it from Taiwan?
Because they so the question is why we're not using British leather. Because Ivan Leathercraft sponsored it and sent it to me. So it's leather. Yeah. So the question that people ask is, what was asked earlier in fact, is this leather, where's it come from? So this particular leather is from Brazil. this piece that I'm using here. So it is a byproduct of, that's going to unravel, it's a byproduct of the meat industry. I knew that was going to happen, don't I, did? It's a byproduct of the meat industry. So we use about 20% of all hides that are taken off animals. You worked in an abattoir, right? So how many of those skins that you took off went straight into the bin? And how many of them went off to a tannery to be turned into? About 50%. So that's quite a good ratio, because in the world, quite a broad average, we only use about 20% of what is there. The rest of it goes into landfill or gets churned up or whatever. And that's for everything. Shoes, clothes, upholstery, belts, bags, anything you can think of, any PPE, any aprons, any work boots, how many shoes. Shoes have been around for like 10,000 years. First shoe was found 10,000 years ago, which is a bit of leather which has been tied on with some cordage. I can see leather shoes around here now. 10,000 years later, we're still tying bits of dead cow to our feet with some string. We've not really moved on that far. But it gets to the point of how much waste is too much waste. Because, it's a byproduct of the meat industry. How much meat are we going through that we're wasting 80% of its byproduct and just throwing it in the bin? So, any other questions? Bear in mind, you can
Still
win
got
a cool
time.
prize. Yeah.
We're looking for a winner. Hands up over here, first of all.
Jack's not getting it.
Hiya. What's the most unique piece that you've made out of leather?
I can't say that at a family-friendly show.
End of question. Oh, that was loud. End of question, right. Down at the front. I'm intrigued, though. I do want to know.
Hold on. I'll come to you in a moment, sir. So lots of different things. I've done things like the NDA's up. So I've done watch wraps for Fitbit. So very nice felt-lined leather, all laser cut. I did like 5 of them. Hold about 10 watches in like a sausage unwrap. It does that. I've done promotional materials for rum companies, so very bespoke bottle carriers. It's all on Instagram. You can see them all on there. The thing that somebody mentioned it, that will make some money if you get good at it and making it, and strap cutting is a lot of it, is the adult bedroom accessory market. I've looked around, we're all adults, we all know what we're talking about. So there's definitely money to be made in that. 100% there's money there. Just get good at it. Like really. And most of it's cutting some straps and putting some rivets on it. If anybody saw the riveting demo last year that I did, if not, it's on YouTube. Just setting some rivets. And essentially, if you can make that, so a really good example is, so this wristband that I'm wearing here, made that with a strap cutter. What I've done with this is that, because it's quite a thick piece, I split it halfway down. If I can show you it a little bit. Ooh. It's really, really easy to take off. So I put a cut in it here, and then I've split the leather most of the way down here, and I've embedded an NFC tag in this and then glued it back down. So if you used to tap your phone onto that, it would take you to my website. That's a strap cutter. Just a scrap of leather. We were saying about scraps earlier, that bit there that just rolled off. How many of these could we make from this? It's loads, isn't it? Yeah, easy. At least one. At least one. So lots of things. And then if you look at what I'm wearing, strap cutter, strap cutter, strap cutter, strap cutter. Watch strap was not a strap cutter, but if you can do, so this one cuts up to 4 inches, which means you could cut something like that, because the widest part of that is just shy of 4 inches. So you could strap cut that out and then just cut it to shape. Or coasters is a really good one. We could cut that to sort of 3.5 inches and then just cut it down, make a load of coasters. There's no scraps.
Right, gentlemen at the front.
So obviously you've got a sponsored piece of leather there that's undyed. Do you prefer to buy undyed leather and dye it yourself, or just buy it straight from the tub? It's a head shaking there.
So for those that may not have heard that, the question is, do I prefer dyed or undyed leather? So we've got this piece that Ben left in a pile on the floor. So this is chrome tanned leather. This is completely different, how it's been preserved, etc. This is ready to go. This is veg tan leather, which is undyed. And for me to change the colour of that, I'd need to either dye the whole piece or cut it and then dye it, personal preference. You've got to apply dye, apply a conditioner to stop it from drying out, wait for it to dry, apply a second coat, make sure it's not dried out, put it into place. And also, it's full of range markings. So where we saw that brand at the beginning, that's not going to take a dye. So if you want that to go black, that's going to be grey. If you want it to go red, it's going to be pink. So personally, I spend a little bit more money and I buy pre-finished leathers or dyed veg tan leathers, more specifically. I do use bits of chrome tan and stuff, but in general, so Lamport from Metropolitan Leather is beautiful stuff. It cuts really well. I think I sent you some of that. It's beautiful. My wallets are made from it. It's beautiful stuff. It's a skill to sit and dye leather, and it's not one that I want to practice ever again. One more there? A couple more.
Quick question. Let's go over here. Final question.
Just what's the difference between chrome tan and veg tan? I appreciate there's difference in thickness there, and that's more flexible.
Yep.
But other than that, what's the difference?
So the main difference between chrome tan and veg tan is how it's preserved. So tan literally means the tannage of it. So vegetable tan leather is left in a big vat of natural stuff. Chrome tan is used chromium salts to preserve the leather. Makes it much easier and quicker to get from a wet blue, so a bit of dead cow, to a usable piece of material. This is way quicker. There is a tannery, and for the life of me, I can't remember which one it is, that tan their hides for a year and a day. If somebody's putting that much effort into it, it's probably going to be more expensive. This piece is £60 each from Lucas Ruth, two for 100. That's nearly 300 without any shipping and taxes on it, 200 without any shipping and taxes on it, because you're paying for the time. It's a little bit thicker, it's probably from a different place as well. You cannot really stamp into this. So if you're doing a deboss, putting like a maker's mark into it, it won't hold. If you want to do any carving, you need that. If you want to do any tooling on it, it won't work on this. If you want to laser cut it or laser engrave it, this stuff, I can't remember, I think it's arsenic it kicks off, or cyanide. It's one of the really fun ones that when this gets really hot, it makes you really, really poorly. I can't remember which one it is, but it's one of the two, or something similar to that.
Let's try. We did just have this one question
Yeah.
down the front. Let's just squeeze it in really quickly.
I have vegetarian friends say to me,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'd love your stuff, but do you think there will ever be a decent vegetarian alternative to leather?
Thank you for phrasing it like that, because you didn't say vegan leather. So thank you. So vegan leather doesn't exist because leather's a tanned hide. Is there a good alternative to dead animals, is what we're asking? Maybe. There's apple and pineapple and stuff that people are using nowadays. So maybe, but I don't know. I'd give it a go. I'd use one of them, for sure. But just explain to them how sustainable it is and that it's going into a bin anyway and all that stuff. I've sold leather to vegans before. And also ask them what the shoes are made from, because they've probably got leather on them.
Lovely. Well, look, those are our questions. Now, Alex, is there a question that stood out to yourself? Any particular one you think really deserves it?
I've got an answer that stuck out. I feel like it's going to have to be the unusual...
The unusual item.
The unusual item. So
the unusual item. I mean, it brought up adult materials. Let's give it. What's your name?
What's your name?
Everybody, make some noise for Hailwind.
There you go. So you've got a strap cutter, there's videos on how to use it, and some spare blades there as well. No worries.
Everybody give a big round of applause to Alex.